It's actually unbelievable how believable that choke job was that Michigan State just had for their 8th straight loss. Whoa.
You are Locked On Spartans, your daily podcast on the Michigan State Spartans, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Today's episode of Locked On Spartans is brought to you by Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Spartan friends, Spartan family, Locked On Spartans listeners, thank you all so much for tuning in to Locked On Spartans, especially hey, if you're spending your Saturday night here. That's right, we got the live show going on, but hey, if you're listening on Sunday morning, catching the replay, regardless, guys, thanks a lot for making us your first listen on the number one ranked podcast network. That's right, the Locked On Podcast Network. Please rate, review, subscribe, comment below if you are as done with all of this as I am. Begrudgingly, there's one more game left. And even more disturbing than that, I'll be there next week. I'm actually looking forward to catching the game. But my God, guys. Oh, boy. Let's talk about it. 8th straight loss. Michigan State doing what they do best, just gagging away a game that they could have won. But whether they don't have the horses or don't have the coaching staff or some combination of both, they did it. They reached their 8th loss of the Big Ten season. Now, unlike the other, 6 losses, they actually kept this one within single digits. So tip of the hat to them for that one. And look, we're going to kick this off with a tweet from Chris Hassel of CBS Sports. Now, he covers Iowa. He's on the Iowa side of things, and he tweeted out, this would be one of the most embarrassing losses of the Ferentz era if Iowa doesn't come back here. Well, Chris, I got good news for you. It won't be the most embarrassing loss of the Ferentz era. Actually, instead, it's just going to be another very predictable loss here for Michigan State, because even with that double-digit lead in the fourth quarter, did you ever really feel like Michigan State was actually going to get it done? Did you actually think they weren't going to have just a bunch of errors, whether it been on the field by the players or coaching errors? Come on. Grow up. This is the 11th game of the season. We know what to expect by now. And hey, I had a little video on Twitter, as I do. I try to do a pregame and a postgame video for all these games, and a little more profane than what I could do on this show right now. I got to make it a little bit PG right now. But this, it's crap like tonight why I'm out on this whole Jonathan Smith era. And I say this, if you haven't been listening, the last few weeks or months or years, I was one of the last shareholders of any Jonathan Smith stock. But that started to go away after the Nebraska game. It really went away for good after the UCLA game. But, man, this is just another reiteration, another reminder, just in case you forgot of why you're all out on this whole charade. It just pops up again. I mean, I get it. Like, the roster's not there, yada, yada, yada. The talent's not there. We'll get to that here in a little bit. But tell me why, with 2:37 left in the game, Caden Wetjen has already housed a touchdown on a punt return. He's already had another big return. You punt right to him. And hey, Jonathan Smith, after the game, to his credit, said, quote, "We were looking for the second to last punt to be out of bounds." Now, this is going to be the punt where, of course, Wetjen cross midfield, put Iowa in great position to score that touchdown that eventually tied the game. So should it have gone out of bounds? Yeah, I guess. Tell me why you're punting to him the previous 2 times, though. How about that? Hey, look, not everyone knows a lot about the other team's return game. I think the bulk of fans still sick enough to tune into this game knew that you probably shouldn't put the ball in that guy's hands. The only guy in Iowa that's worth a damn on that team. But no, here you go. It wasn't just enough to see it once, not enough to see it twice, but 3 times. And sure, you could say that's supposed to go out of bounds all you want. That's just another gaffe on the long list of gaffes that special teams has had this season. And when it gets that bad, fair or not fair, it goes to coaching. Whether it's the head coach, whether it's these awesome co-special teams coordinators that you have, whatever it is, it all ladders up to coaching when it is this big of a car wreck. Or how about this for coaching? It's 2nd and 2. At the end of the game, Michigan State has the ball. It's a tied game. And there's 53 seconds left. Now, I watched this game with my brother, who's a big Michigan State fan. He's seen all these games too, and he said, well, at least Iowa's not going to get the ball back. And I looked at him, and I said, oh, brother. Oh, you poor, sweet thing. How naive of you to think if there's one team that won't absolutely gag this one, it's the Michigan State Spartans. Of course, Iowa's going to get the ball back. Yeah, just because it's 2nd and 2 with 53 seconds left doesn't mean that we're going to, get into field goal territory, which is ideal plan A, or, hey, you bleed enough clock to make sure that Iowa doesn't get the ball back with a substantial enough amount of time to get into field goal range. No. It's a run up the middle. When you haven't been able to run up the middle since, oh God, when was Kenneth Walker here? 2021? It's been that long. How about the incomplete pass? Sure, 47 seconds left. And I get it. I mean, they tried both. They tried to run. They tried to pass. I, for one, enjoyed the pass play. But here's the thing. The ball's around midfield. You're at the opposite 45-yard line. You are, we'll call it, 20 yards away from field goal range. Your season's already pretty much in the toaster, which is also in a bathtub. The season's done. It's over. You're out of bowl contention. And I actually looked this up, too, before the game. Even if this team went 5-7, they don't even play school well here at Michigan State. Their APR score wasn't even good enough to get them in one of those weird 5-7 bowl bids. The hell you doing punting it with Alessio? Just go for it. Just have something to smile about at the banquet. I mean, truly, who could care if you didn't make it? I would at least respect you that you had the balls to go for it in a lost season just to walk out of here with something. Beating Iowa on the road as 15-point underdogs, but nope. You turtled, you had your quarterback punt the ball, and sure, I get it. Your defense was playing good enough to, hey, you put your trust in them, maybe beat them in overtime. Yeah, you're 20 yards away from a field goal to win the game, to put the kill shot in. And there's already been a kill shot delivered on your season. What are we doing here? Whatever. So that's another issue that I have with the coaching staff. And this is pretty minuscule, but it's just another thing of just a clock management strike against this staff. In the first half, 3rd down, okay, now it's 4th down coming up. Time's running off on the clock, and we call timeout with 12 seconds left to go for it on 4th and 2. For what reason? And, of course, the next play blew up. It led to an interception, which let Iowa kick a field goal, which they very well could have made. You skated away free there, but it was just more clock management errors at the end of a half like we've seen. And this isn't a one-off thing, as you guys already know. If you're watching this show, if you've watched this Michigan State game, you're obviously a diehard fan. You're a sick enough person to have seen all the things that I've seen as to why, against all the excuses that I have made for this coaching staff, they have made for themselves, that why I'm still out here. They haven't shown, they haven't been able to develop a player from last year to this one, but even in-game coaching, the most damning of it all was after that Nebraska game, if you guys remember, and I'm sure you do. Yeah, they gagged away that one. And a part of the reason why they had to gag away that one is, Aiden Childs was getting murdered the entire game. And that's because they had to try some new things at offensive line. And despite Childs just getting scraped off the turf the entire afternoon at Memorial, Jonathan Smith was asked after the game, hey, why don't you make a change sooner at offensive line? And he said, we didn't see any glaring issues there. Him and the staff can't see things that are just clearly in front of them. Just like last week, Alessio Milivojevic, he's got one functioning limb at the end of that Penn State game. And yet, even though the game is already over, it's a foregone conclusion, he's hobbled, he's limping. He injured one shoulder on the previous drive, another shoulder on the current drive last week to end the game. They're still dropping him back against that pass rush that was eating him all up. They just can't understand what is going on in front of them. Or the end of half situation at Boston College where they were kind of trying to get into field goal range, but also kind of not. Or the end of half against Youngstown State where they couldn't even know how to use a timeout. Whether it's development, whether it's in-game time issues, this is why I'm out. They just haven't shown that they could adequately coach a team, whether it's Monday through Friday or on the game day of Saturday. Way too many errors going on. Top to bottom, no improvement from last year. That's the biggest, most damning reason why I'm out. So I thought that we'd at least get a little improvement from last year to this one. Where have they improved? Both a rhetorical and non-rhetorical questions, so comment below if you have any improvements from this year to last. But guys, we're going to get more into this because, again, we just railed on the coaching. We railed on why I'm just totally done with this whole regime and ready to go on to the next one, which I doubt Michigan State will. But let's talk about the other issues in the game, which come from the roster, including a receiver that's making way more money than he probably should be. But hey, anyway, guys, let's talk about Wayfair first because, hey, the holiday season is right around the corner, and that means it's time to get your home ready. Whether you need more seating for guests, cozy new linens, or fun serveware for holiday hosting, Wayfair's Black Friday sales here to help you get your space shining, guys. And the best part is, you don't have to wait. No, don't wait until the day after Christmas. Come on. Wayfair's Black Friday deals are happening all month long with up to 70% off everything from sofas to spatulas. If it's in your home, and if you need it in your home, odds are you're going to find this thing on Wayfair, guys. If you ever hosted family for the holidays, you know how much a difference just a few touches can make. Wayfair makes all of that easy, whether it's big furniture, again, small items, guys, some nice holiday decor. Hey, do it and do it on Wayfair. And don't miss out on the Black Friday deals going on right now. Head to wayfair.com now to shop Wayfair's Black Friday sale for up to 70% off. That's WAYFAIR.com. Sale ends December 7th. Also, Alumni Hall, because, hey, it's the holiday season. Just take care of the holiday shopping right now with Alumni Hall. Whether it's family, friends, yourself, because you deserve a holiday gift this season too. Do it all with Alumni Hall. They have all the top brands. We're talking Nike, Columbia, Champion, Yeti, New Era, so much more. And they got all the gifts that you're looking for, guys, from the kids to the adults, from hats to tailgating gear, whatever it is. They are going to hook it up with Alumni Hall. And they're taking care of the Spartan community. Michigan State students, faculty, as well as military and all first responders. Get 10% off with a valid ID in the store. And on top of all that, you're going to want to follow Alumni Hall on social media and download the Alumni Hall app because that is where you will find special offers and sales. So pop into Alumni Hall in the Eastwood Town Center in Lansing near the Apple Store, or shop online or through their app. And best part is, for every $150 you spend, you will get $10 in Hall cash to use for the next time. So grab that new game day look or upgrade your tailgate with Alumni Hall, your ultimate Michigan State shopping destination. All right, quick water break before we get back into this game. And all right, thanks. That's the joy of doing a live show here. I got to take my water breaks live. Okay, so Jonathan Smith can't catch the ball, right? He clearly can't punt the ball out of bounds, but I question why you were ever punting the ball in bounds to begin with. Yeah, let's talk about the roster not being good enough. The errors that we saw just with the player personnel on this team, because, yeah, this is how you get a 14-point choke job. Yeah, Nick Marsh. Well, let's just call it how we see it. I have no reason to believe he's not a great kid. I love that he's here at Michigan State. He's had some great moments here. He hasn't had a great moment in a while, though. I think it's safe to say that. A few weeks ago at Minnesota, I remember the drop in the end zone. I remember getting on here, and I wasn't one of the people saying, oh, that ball was thrown a little too behind him. Not for a guy that wants to go in the first 3 rounds of the NFL draft. Not for a guy that is as well compensated to play here at Michigan State. No, that's a catch back in the Minnesota game that 100% he should have had in the end zone. Oh, game goes to overtime. Would really like to have that one back. Last week, non-factor against Penn State. This week, more of the same. Very close to a fumble in the first half, but it wasn't, ruled anything damaging for Michigan State. So, hey, that's fine. We'll let them skate there. How about, and this wasn't thrown behind him, the one thrown directly at his chest plate that bounced off of him. How about that one? Because there's a butterfly effect that goes on when you drop passes. The punt team comes on the field, and that punt team, for some reason, punts right to the best returner in college. And that punt team embarrasses themselves as they try to tackle him. It looked like a bunch of 4th graders going up against Jahmyr Gibbs. It was ridiculous. No one was even close to bringing him down. And you saw what happens. Drop 3rd down pass, go to the punt team. Uh-oh. Disaster ensues. Well, golly gee Wilkers, as if our very, very, whether it's highly hyped, highly paid, it's both. Receiver drops that ball. Okay. Really scratching my head wondering who on offense actually wants to perform well here outside of your quarterback. Anyone? Any show of hands? Well, Christian McCray actually did tonight, but yeah, incredibly disappointing stretch here for Nick Marsh. I would be remiss if I didn't bring that up. I would be doing a disingenuous job if I didn't carve out time there to talk about the guy who was supposed to be arguably the best player on this team. Looking like a guy that I wouldn't even make Big Ten honorable mention if you just looked at the last 3 weeks here. I'm sorry. It's like I'm not having fun talking like this, but I'd also just be doing you guys a disservice if we didn't bring that up. That was a very relevant part of the game. I would be ripping anyone for dropping that pass, let alone the guy that's supposed to be the stud of the team. Brutal. Speaking of brutal, the offensive line extended their league-leading tackles for loss given up. They gave up 7 tonight. And, guys, we're 8 Big Ten games in, and they only have 1 game against Big Ten teams where they have ran the ball for more than 4 yards per carry. And it wasn't this one. They ran for 3 yards per carry this game. The only game was last week against Penn State, and that's because Eli Tolliver on the first play of the game, he ran for 50-some yards. If you took that play away, obviously they don't run for 4 yards per carry. I actually, I know I rail on this a lot. I literally, in every definition of the phrase, literally cannot believe how bad the offensive line has looked this year. And save me the comments of oh, they're injured. Yeah, I know they're injured. Yeah, everyone's injured by week 12 or whatever week we're in right now, week 13, game 11, we'll call it. They were a bad group last year. I thought that at least we'd be getting some development and some improvement. But it turns out the only offensive linemen that are worth really writing home about are the guys you inherited from other programs, like Matt Goldman from Wake Forest and then Connor Moore from Montana State. It's shocking how no one from last year to this year that was in this program already is producing at any level. It's crazy. It's crazy, right? it's not. Anyway, fourth quarter defense. We had a podcast episode with Jeffrey the Greek of Eyes on Big. And we talked about the defense, and he said, hey, Joe Rossi has this defense looking good. And I said, yeah, they are one of the best defenses in the country if games were 45 minutes long. But once that fourth quarter starts, just like last week, giving up 13 unanswered points, yeah, they give up 14 points here. I mean, look, I get it. Joe Rossi, I don't think has been the problem. I think he's tried a lot of different things. And no, I'm not going to make the defense the bad guy tonight because I thought on a few of those catches in the fourth quarter, those were just incredible plays on the Iowa receiver. Aiden West had great coverage. Even the touchdown at the very end, I thought that was covered pretty well. So hats off to, I sound like Jonathan Smith, give Iowa credit, which is what he says after every single loss. But really, truly give the offensive credit at the end of that game. But the defense was good until it got to crunch time. And then there were some cracks. But yeah, that's what it is, guys. I mean, hey, you want some nice quotes? I'll give you some nice quotes. Not for myself, but I've been so negative on this show for a good reason. Like, what am I going to talk about the rainbow and sunshine going on when there's a Category 4 hurricane going on? No, I'm not going to blow sunshine up your you-know-whats. But I'll just give some nice quotes right now just to make myself feel a little better after ripping this team apart yet again for the last 18 minutes. And the first quotes will come from me. Alessio continues to improve me. I think that's a really tough kid. I would love to see him come back next year. Malcolm Bell, I thought he had a really nice game tonight. Jordan Hall, what a blessing that guy is. If anything, I feel sick that they can't win more games for that kid because he's poured his heart into this program, and it's amounted to this. Anyway, Kirk Ferentz actually had a quote. He said, quote... And this was a tweet by Emmett Matazowski of Spartan Shadows, who's actually boots on the ground today. So shout out to our guy Emmett over there. But anyway, Kirk Ferentz wrote in, quote, to me, where people miss the boat so often, it was clear Michigan State's football players made a decision that they would keep playing competitively. It's part of the process. That fight is where you see this MSU team doing this right. So at least we're trying hard. At least full effort is being given. And yeah, you can make an argument that actually might be a problem, is that this team is trying their hardest and they're still losing 8 straight games, but I digress. We'll keep it moving here. This is a tweet from Chris Solari of the Free Press. He got this quote from Jordan Hall, quote, the bad that Coach Smith gets, it appalls me. He's a great coach, a great man, and he leads well. I stand by him. He's been constant, win, lose, or draw. So look, who's going to fight you if you want to take the linebacker and the captain's side over this mean bully of a podcaster's side? He likes Jonathan Smith. He thinks the hate that he gets is a little too far. I think losing 8 straight games is a little too far personally. That's just me. 6 of those 8 games by double digits. again. You know what? Let's just circle back here because I understand, and we've had episodes like through the wazoo about this, but the roster isn't good. Jonathan Smith inherited a bad situation here. There are some gaping holes at some positions. He's had to patch them up through the portal with a long list of positions that he's had to tackle. Look, you want an episode where I talk about that? I'll point you to one. That was just the cliff notes of it. I know the roster is not good enough to be competing for Big Ten championships or even competing at the upper half of the Big Ten, but this is a roster good enough to be going to a bowl game, right? I mean, I expect a coach with any competent roster to be protecting a 14-point lead in the fourth quarter like tonight, or a 7-point lead with a minute to go against Minnesota, right? Or not defecating all over your shoes on the field at Memorial Stadium against Nebraska. Or I expect you to not field a team of zombies that are walking through their game against UCLA, a team that at that point had a second-week interim head coach. Yes, the roster has issues. It's not that bad. As we're watching teams like Northwestern clinching their way to a bowl game right now. As I'm watching a team tonight, Wisconsin, a team that has been dead for weeks. I mean, they were probably dead upon arrival. They've been horrible since the start of the season. Guess who has a top 25 win, though, as of tonight? Wisconsin. Yeah, other teams have issues, too. They still find a way to make bowl games. They still find a way to make top 25 wins happen. Not the staff, though. Nope. But we're probably going to get another year of this. I don't think he gets fired. Look, we're going to talk a little bit more about this football game, get to a few of your questions and comments, and then we'll talk about the basketball team because they brought a smile to our face on Friday night. But first, you need to talk all your ears off about Gametime, the greatest ticketing app out there, and I'll say it again, and this is a cry for help as much as it is just doing an ad read, but I am going to the game on Saturday at Ford Field. Why? I don't know. Actually, dude, it is a fun time still. Like, we went to the game a few years ago at against Penn State, and that was still a good time, even though Michigan State got their teeth kicked in. That's like partying up with Spartan Nation, guys. Go ahead, get your tickets on Gametime, or you really actually want to smile and maybe even see your team win. The basketball season is still young. Even if there's a game on the schedule that is weeks or months out, you can still save money on Gametime with their flash deals. Or let's say, for example, it's on Saturday night. It's 6:30, and you're wondering, hey, you know what? I wonder if they still got tickets available on Gametime for this game at Ford Field. Their last-minute ticket deals will save you some money, guys, because Gametime is all about saving you that cheddar. Whether it's flash deals, whether it's last-minute ticket deals, they take care of you. It is an easy process. It's 2 taps to buy the tickets, and they are sent straight to your phone. You're not going to be wondering outside the stadium, oh, God, where are my tickets? I got to go through my email and everything. No, guys, it's so simple with Gametime. Take the guesswork out of buying college football tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, that's promo code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download Gametime today. Okay, let's talk a little bit more about football before we get to the fun sport of basketball, because we got some emails at lockedonspartans@gmail.com. And Nicholas writes in, isn't it bad? I truly just don't care anymore. Like, I'm just laughing watching that kick go through. What did we do to deserve this? Hand up, actually. I'll throw myself under the bus here. If you guys want someone to yell at that's not a player or a coach, I'll be your person. Let's rewind the clock back to 2021. Michigan State down 16 points at home against Michigan in a battle between 2 undefeated teams. And I remember saying this out loud in an empty room. No one was even around. I said out loud, I'd do anything for a win right now. I would do anything for a win right now. And just in case you thought that no one would even listen to you, even in an empty room, guys, there is someone out there that listens to what you say. Because this is the anything that would happen. Not only did Michigan go on to the Big Ten championship game, not only did we get our teeth kicked in by Purdue, not only have we not been to a bowl game since that day, but all the scandals and fun along the way too. Boy, did I speak that into existence. So sorry about that one, guys, but maybe that's what we did to deserve this. Look, am I being a little bit too high on myself right now that I have this kind of power? Maybe, but if you guys want a scapegoat, I'll happily be your scapegoat. But no, Nicholas, I miss caring. And obviously you could tell at this point, like I still do have a baseline level of care. I will still watch these games. I'll still get a little fired up about these games, but largely, I mean, a few years ago, like if this happened in the late 2010s or the mid 2010s, God forbid, and ruined a season like we had back then, like a loss like this would keep me up until Tuesday. You know, like I'd be furious at some of the missed calls today. I'd be spitting mad right now. But I was over the game in 6 minutes. I mean, I'll be damned. Like I lived the first 30 minutes of my day today, not even realizing it was game day. I miss waking up every Saturday with the pit of anxiety in my stomach, thinking like, oh my God, it's game day. Let's go. I'm fired up. What's going to happen today with our Spartans? Went through the first part of my day just blissfully forgetting they even played today. I mean, hell, I was watching another game. I was watching Oklahoma, Missouri, and all of a sudden I checked my phone. It's like 3:25. It's like, oh my God, that's right. We play. Oh God, here we go. Let's flip it over to FS1. Check out what we're going to do today. I miss that passion. Like, of course I still like root for them and everything, but I miss being completely mentally unstable about this team. And here we are. Here we are, four years without a bowl game. 4 years without a bowl game. Listen to that. Listen to what I'm saying. No other Big Ten team can say this. Not even Rutgers, not even Maryland, not even Purdue, not even UCLA. 4 years in a row without a bowl game. We are the basement of the Big Ten. It is pathetic. What can you do other than laugh? What can you do other than laugh? Will wrote in on Twitter, Sheehan_sports, if you guys ever want to shout at me. Will writes in, is there anything Smith could do to get fired at this point, or do they really want to see a mass exodus by season ticket holders? I truly think at this point he is going to be coming back. Like, if he could survive his team sleepwalking against UCLA on homecoming, if he can survive a collapse against Minnesota, if he can survive this collapse on the road at Iowa up 14 points in the fourth quarter, if he could absorb those bullets, it's probably inevitable he will be coming back. And I can't wait for that statement by Jay Batt. Obviously, we've had it on the show, and like I think long term, it's still going to all work out here for Jay Batt. But man, is he speed running through his honeymoon phase with this fan base if he does return? That's from the statement after the CMU punishment, where they basically just shook their you-know-whats and said, oh, we're grateful for Central Michigan's cooperation and apology. Okay, sure. The lack of fight against the sanctions that the NCAA struck down, look, whether that's a way to get out of Payne Mel Tucker or not, I don't care. It's optic-wise. You basically said, oh, we're disappointed, but we accept these conditions. Okay. And then bringing back Smith. Oh, boy, that's a tough trifecta of optics right there for the athletic department. Oh, yeah. Jack writes in, big fan of the show. Jack, I'm a big fan of you. Thanks a lot, man. He writes in, oh, my Lord, can we please just end this failed experiment, trot out Rossi as the interim next week, and get this program back to where it belongs? If you didn't know any, this is not in the email. If you did not know any better, if you just watched your first Michigan State game today, I guarantee you 100 new people out of 100 new people would think Joe Rossi's the head coach with how much passion he has and how much camera time he gets anyway. Jack writes in, I genuinely have no idea why the athletic department is okay with a sorry excuse for a program. Would love for you to touch on who may be the next the MSU coach next year if you've heard anything new. I think it's the guy that we got right now. Rock on. Jack also writes in, thank God for Tom Izzo. Fierce as a dog. Happy feast week to you and yours, and beat UNC. What a great transition into this, because yes, we will break down a game that Detroit Mercy was never going to win. I get it. Sports are played on the field, on the court, any given Saturday or any given Friday night in the basketball's case. Like, upsets are crazy and happen all the time. Us Michigan State fans know this. We saw the Middle Tennessee State game. We saw that James Madison game. But I firmly believe if these two teams played, Michigan State University and Detroit Mercy played at Breslin Center 1,000 times, I genuinely believe Michigan State would have won all 1,000 of those games. And they won this one 84-56. And it was just another reminder that this defense is always going to be a reason Michigan State can, in theory, win any game they have on their schedule. Now, clearly, you could have won this game sitting crisscross applesauce whenever U of D dribble the ball up to their offensive side of the court. That's a brutal team. I tell you what, but man, I was lucky enough to be at the game. Very blessed to be at that game. Brought my oldest kid, he's 5 years old, to his very first game at the Breslin Center. I brought my dad, so it was a great night. And 10 minutes into the game, and I may have missed a possession or two. I had to do a melting moments run for the little guy. I might have missed a possession or two. But 10 minutes into the game, I looked at my dad. I said, U of D has not taken a shot they're happy with yet. Like, we are halfway through the first half. And they've been taking circus shots, panicked, rush shots, but it's not just U of D. Like, Kentucky just had that same problem. Arkansas, it went a little better for Arkansas, but there were still pockets of that game where they're not getting clean looks for a good 4 or 5 minute stretch. Like, this defense is tenacious, it's nasty, and it was just another excuse because I think that's opponent irrelevant. Going 10 minutes to open up a game without giving up any shot that didn't look like a prayer from the other team. So, God, this defense is nasty. They got the number 6 defensive efficiency team on BartTorvik.com. And look, we're going to talk about Jeremy Fears, obviously, because he led the team in scoring and assists. But before that, I do want to talk about this player. I want to talk about Carson Cooper, because we've given him love in passing on the show so far this season, but I really want to pull him out and spotlight him. Because, yeah, averaging 10 points, 5.5 rebounds so far. Solid numbers. Fine, whatever. And he had 12.6 rebounds last night against U of D in just, I think, 20 minutes. He didn't really play often. But this is just pulling him out and talking about him and his development. Because I am amazed, and this isn't something you could tabulate on a box score. He looks fluid out there. His body control. For someone that's as tall as he is, for someone that was as raw as he was as a freshman, sophomore, even beginning of last year as a junior, to what he is today, like, he is looking athletic out there. He is finishing pick and roll alley-oops, and that's, look, if you watch last few years of Michigan State basketball, you know that finishing an alley-oop, and this isn't all a Carson Cooper problem, but you know that finishing an alley-oop can be taken for granted sometimes. Like, there are some athletic catch and finishes that he has, and he had a few of them on Friday night, or even just his footwork down low. And it doesn't hurt that he can stretch the floor out a little bit too. I know the field goal percentage isn't all there, but it's a shot that looks good. It's a shot that other teams are going to have to respect. So it's just another great feather in the cap for Tom Izzo, keeping a guy here 3-4 years. And also, you got to give Carson Cooper a lot of credit as well, staying here for 3-4 years, trusting the process, and developing into this really nice, who I think is a plus player now. I mean, in years past, role player at best. He's average at best. Now, really solid start to the season for him so far. And I'll transition off that because I'm actually glad that he got 2 fouls early. Because we've seen everything that I just talked about early on in the first 4 games. I've been interested to see more Jesse McCulloch, see more Cam Ward. And obviously, Cam Ward had his coming out game against Arkansas. But when Carson Cooper got 2 early fouls, I was like in my chair, like nodding my head, like, okay, like we're already up 12, 14 points, I think it was. We don't need him to win this game right now. Let's start getting developmental minutes for our guy, Jesse McCulloch, Cam Ward. And McCulloch's an interesting case, right, guys? I mean, he had a season high of minutes, I believe, 14 minutes. 5 points, 6 boards, 2 blocks, and, you know, I'm sitting next to Dave Klein, DK, at this game. It was me and him shoulder to shoulder. And it's almost like he went inside my brain because during the game, I'm like, wow, he stretches it out. Yes, he's tall, but is he a true center? I just don't know if he is. And that's not a problem. It's not a bad thing. But he can stretch the floor out. I love that he gets the ball at the arc and he's already in the 3-point stance. I mean, you know, getting his little head fake up, stretching the floor a little bit. And he did have some nice finishes down low. He kind of just seems like this 4 or 5 tweener, which I think makes him a little bit more versatile. And I hope that we see a little bit more Jesse McCulloch because I like what I'm seeing so far from the kid. And Cam Ward, 5 points, 8 rebounds. I thought he played just fine. You know, that's what you expect from him at this point. Really good start for the freshman. So, yeah, I was glad that we got to see more of those guys, though. And I'm always glad to see more Jeremy Fears. Of course. I mean, just a ho-hum, 18 points, 11 assists. My God. And he's leading the nation right now at just over 10 assists per game. And Tom Izzo after the game said, quote, "I was impressed with Jeremy Fears. He's rounding into the point guard I thought he could be, would be, and should be." I remember when he committed here, and this isn't like, to toot my own horn. He was a 5-star McDonald's All-American. This wasn't some like great call that I had. I remember saying I think he could be like not good, not great. I think he could be a special point guard here in East Lansing. His feel for the game, he's running at double the speed of everyone else. He sees things so differently out there on the court. So massive tip of the hat to him. I mean, we'll be talking about Jeremy Fears all season long, so just a little short on that. And Colin Carr was dynamite from the start, right? He had 11 points when Detroit Mercy still had 4 points, I believe. He came out swinging. He was draining threes. And, of course, his last 2 points of the game were that thunderous dunk in the second half. And I'm going to just turn this into just a personal anecdote about, my experience Friday night. It was awesome taking my oldest kid to his first game at Breslin Center. He's really into the games now when he watches on TV. He gets really concerned when the other team scores. Loves when Michigan State scores. So I was like, you know what? Perfect. Friday night, low stakes game against U of D. We're going. And you always want the best for your kids in life, right? Like when you go to the Thanksgiving Day parade, you want to see Santa. Or you go to a sporting event, you want to see their favorite player hit a home run or your team win the game. When I'm at the game, I just really wanted for him just to see a Cohen Carr dunk because it is a spectacle. He told me with 9 minutes left that he's getting sleepy. And, there's been some great dunks. Carson Cooper was throwing it down. He's a big Carson Cooper fan now because of that. I was thinking, do you know what? Let's give it until the under 8 timeout to see if we can get one Cohen Carr dunk here. And by God, oh my goodness gracious, he did it. Crowd erupts. I will always remember my little guy's reaction, just going crazy. Game's a 25-point beatdown. It's the second half, and the crowd pop on that dunk. You would have thought it was a Michigan game or a game against Illinois. Colin Carr brings the house down, and after the game, we're talking about it, and I say, it's really cool when he dunks, isn't it? And my kid says, why is it cool when he dunks? And I didn't have an answer for him right there and then. I was like, that's a good question. It's just really cool. But then it dawned on me this morning, just going through the replay in my head, and we were blessed enough to have a great angle for it. We had really good seats last night. Seeing it in person, it doesn't seem real. It looks like you are living in a CGI edited movie, or you're watching like an AI generated clip. It doesn't seem real what he does. It is slam ball, and you're looking for the trampolines, and they're just not showing up anywhere. This guy was neck high to the rim, and he grabs this ball, snaps the rim down so hard it's almost perpendicular with the ground. We've had some high flyers here at Michigan State, right? Jason Richardson, Shannon Brown, Miles Bridges could throw down. I know I'm missing a few other guys too, but you get my point. We've had freak athletes. I don't ever remember it being like this, though. It is a spectacle every single time it happens. And that's what I came back to this morning. Because it looks cartoonish, it looks fake. You literally cannot believe a human body could even perform an athletic feat the way Cohen Carr performs his dunks. So, ending on a very whimsical note, ending on a very, not X's and O's whatsoever breakdown. But, guys, I don't think any Michigan State fan does this. But we cannot take Cohen Carr for granted here. Whether this is his last year before he goes to the NBA or elsewhere, whatever it is, or whether we do get another year on top of this, I know a lot of you guys are. I know all of you are. But it's just another reminder. Cherish it. It is a spectacle. Gotta love Cohen Carr. And I love all of you guys too. Thanks a lot for watching. Thanks a lot for listening. I know it wasn't fun to start the show because we had to talk about football, but glad we got to end on basketball. Sport that delivers. All right, guys. Hey, we'll see you around because we do this 5 days a week right here in the Locked On Podcast Network, the #1 ranked podcast network. Until next time, take care of yourselves. Love you all. Go green.